Okay, I'm back. So, ah, so I just did a live a few minutes ago, and it was 48 minutes, and I decided to go back and watch the just to see what it looked like because it was my first live. Real live. I did a few test ones. Lo and behold, I have no audio. Okay. So, there's a 48-minute video with no audio. Excuse me. And it's not like I can go back and repeat it. I can't download it so I can do a voiceover. At least I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So for right now, my quick fix is to kind of screen share the video. I'm going to fast forward through it, so it's not going to be a 48-minute of me speaking, but it would kind of be like a voiceover, but in a separate video, watching the video. Um, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and screen share. And, I mean, I can see right here that it's it looks like my audio is going. So I have this set for private for a second for right now, and then, I will make it public afterwards. So, let's see. Okay. So, um, sorry, my you're not gonna be hearing what I'm saying. So, basically, I was talking about what I was doing. I ended up I was planning homeschool for next year. And with my son's interest, we usually evaluate how the year went and what he wants different and what things I have seen and his new interests and how we can capitalize on that because it doesn't make sense for him to learn something that he's not interested in. If we can find a way to incorporate what he loves and for him to learn what we need him to learn, then all the better. So that's what I'm talking about right here. And so I was talking about how he's interested in the relationship between countries and how some the wars, the outcomes, the causes, and all that stuff. And so as I'm planning this, I started veering my mind. My mind is kind of firing up all these different ideas, and I was like, "Ooh, a game." So in this video, you're walking through I'm gonna show you how I started putting the game together. So I had, the idea for the game, and then I had, ChatGPT help me with kind of putting it like, framing it together, and so it kind of makes sense in putting the rules together because I kept on switching what I wanted to do and how I wanted it to flow. So I'm gonna be making a prototype, and then at least for one deck, there's gonna be several decks of cards. This first go around, we'll end up with four main decks, and then we have supporting, like, special card decks, which won't be as many. Um, and so we're gonna have utilize a map, and we're gonna utilize a timeline, and then we're gonna have, like, a path. Um and then so you have those to do. You have cards that you're gonna put in the correct slot for the timeline to get points. You have a token that will go along the path, and then you'll have, game pieces that will go on the map. And then at the end, with the different game pieces, we'll see, how much territory each person claimed along the game, and so on and so forth. It's still working. I'm still bringing it up in my mind and kind of going through it and adjusting here and there. So that's what I'm talking about right here. So I'm going to scoot forward. Um, I'm still talking. I'm still talking. Um, and then so I'm using Canva to kind of design all this up. And so the first thing that I started doing was looking at I want to make the cover, and I want each category for the deck of cards to have their own special cover. So these are the trials that I did um, but I want it more specific to each category. So the first category is types of war. And so I'm going to be in this part I'm kind of figuring out what I want to put in the prompt, um and what elements I want and how I want it to sound, and I'm going to go ahead go through different iterations of what's that word? Different I'm going to go through different several different options and different prompt wording to get one I kind of liked. Now, I could have stayed on this section for a while because of perfectionism, but as we know, perfectionism um, is the enemy of creativity because if we focused on being perfect, we would end up staying in the same spot for the most part, or at least not finishing. So over here, I had to kind of shift myself away from it being perfect, especially since it is a prototype. Um, and I would have spent the whole time focusing on this as opposed to moving on, because I want the game, or at least the bare bones of the game, to be completed and ready for us to do it before the summer is over. So I'm just going to be using Canva at the moment to kind of flesh it out and print the cards, and we're going to use some maps from games my husband has, and we're gonna utilize those for now, because they would work perfectly. And just creating the timeline and then creating the path, and then I am going to use, polymer clay for I wanna make the tokens and, the game pieces. I thought that might be a fun project to do. So I hope to bring you guys along with me. And, yeah, so that was my first prompt, and then that, see, it kind of shows some of the results, but I didn't really like it because I wanted to change it, and I didn't want to have where it's going to show specific military signs or insignias or flags or whatnot, and I didn't want that to cause any issues. So then I changed it to generic, and these are cool, but I also kind of like the idea of having some flags and maybe even like horses or something in the background, something more than just soldiers to kind of give it dimension, give it life. And so I think I add here, yeah, formation of flags and horses. I was gonna put it in the background, but it doesn't can be in the mix because in the background means that they're kind of not part of what's the action that's going on, but I wanted it to be part of the action. Um, so over here, I'm going through trying to figure out how I wanted to word the prompt and yeah. So yeah, changing army to military. Of course you can see this. Oh, you can see it. um, yeah. Well, this is a first for me too. Kind of doing a voiceover of a video that I just did in a video. Um, yeah. Huh. I just realized that's how people do reaction videos. This is kind of my reaction video. Anyway, over here, then I'm looking at kind of like the beauty of AI. They're not it's not really perfect, and I'm not sure what I'm saying here, so I'm kind of winging it at the moment. Um, try to I think I wanted, like, 2 I wanted opposing, like, to see more of, action between 2 teams. I think that's what I'm doing over here, and I'm gonna be changing this. I think I'm gonna put 2 opposing I think I put 2 opposing generic battles, but I changed it to 2 opposing, or maybe I was taking the flags out. Okay. And here you can see um, some weird stuff like 2 people on a horse, 2 soldiers on a horse, which I know I'm sure it happened if like one of the horses died. and then this guy in the lower um, corner with his legs facing the wrong way. Um, yeah, and then that guy sitting side saddle, unless he was getting down to go help somebody, that could be it. No, I did love that first one because it clearly showed you can see two opposing military groups, but they're both facing the wrong way. So they could be allies facing off against a common enemy. Who knows? Um, so let's see. I think over here is when I'm going to be changing it to opposing military or opposing groups. Yeah. Okay. And so, as I said, I could have gone on and on about just going ahead and trying to figure it out and doing this. But, I think I found what I wanted in this next scene. Um, it was better than the other, so I just went ahead and took that one. I think it was, that first one. Um, that way I could go ahead and move on with the process. So, this is just an idea of how I'm going just doing my regular life, living life, and all of a sudden a creative idea pops into my head. Um, Now tell me in the comments below if this is something that has happened for you, if this happens to you on a regular basis or once in a while. And you know what would be cool is if you took note of each time, not just the idea, but um, elements surrounding that moment. Like, what were you doing? What were you thinking? What were you saying? What was somebody saying? Where were you? Like, all these teeny tiny details, because you never know. Once you keep a record of it, you can start keeping a record of each time a creative moment just happens while you're living life. And you can compare and contrast each each occurrence against the other and see what the common denominators are. And there you might even find where, oh, I my creative juices flow a lot better when I'm faced with this situation while I'm doing this, when I'm thinking about that, or so on and so forth. This is especially true for those who want to be creative but don't know how to start, what to start, or you have that feeling where you don't really feel that you're creative and you want to be creative, you want to do something, or you feel like you're creative, like the ideas are not flowing. So that's a good thing to do is just keep track of when those tiny moments or those moments when you have a flash of an idea. Okay, so for over here, you know what? I should have been looking straight ahead because I can see that video that's on that screen instead of turning this way. So over here, I copied the picture over onto Canva, and I got a frame. So I'm working on the frame, trying to get it to about the size of like a card, and I had to look up the card size of playing a game card online, and that was, what was it, 2.5 by 3.5, the playing card dimension. Now it would be cool if I could change it to a jumbo card. You know what? I'm gonna make a note of that. You see, I am talking about an idea of what I'm doing, and something else just pops into my head. So thankfully, I have paper right here. So I'm just gonna add chained to jumbo size, because that way, once it's a jumbo size, it's going to be bigger, and then I can get more of the text, and the text doesn't have to be small, because as you watch the video you're going to see that um, the text on the other side is small. Right now I'm working on the front, and I learned something when I was working on this. I learned in Canva that you can change not only the shape of like an element, like a shape element, you can change the shape. I mean, if it's a square, you can change it to a circle and so on and so forth, which I knew, but you can add like points in the like sections, like I guess curves or points in the shape. and I found it by accident right here in this video. So right now I'm trying to figure out the border, and I'm putting a curve around the border. I think that's what I was doing. I keep looking over there while I could look here, and who knows what I'm saying. Yeah, I do like I love the contrast of the way the black border, um, and then the image itself, it has like a vintage feel, at least the way I think of vintage, like the browns and the neutrals. But I love the pop of the horses and the uniform of the soldiers, and then the flags in the background. And then I love the composition of this image, giving you depth, so you can see like you're looking, like you can see the soldiers all that far, like, at the end. See, I'm moving back instead of moving my hand to illustrate what I mean. So right now, I think I am what am I doing? I'm talking. Um, and you know what? I just realized that you can't see my original picture. Haha, that's funny. I wonder if I can move it. Nope, I can't move it. Anyway, so I'm talking about something. Um, you know what? I'm going to remember this for a long, long time, and I think this is going to be something that um, remind me to keep on making sure that the correct mic is on, because that was a problem. So anyway, we weren't going to watch the whole thing, so I'm going to move forward. Okay, so here I'm putting in the category. So I decided to put on the face of the card, each card, I'm going to have just the category name. Um, and then on the underside, the back side of it will be now all the text information. So for this one that I'm working on is types of war. That's the category of this deck of cards. And this is one of the war deck of cards and war cards, and it's going to have 30 at the end of it is going to have 30 cards for the deck. Now I do have let's see, I think there are 10. Yeah, I have 10 um war card decks. For this first go around, I'm going to concentrate on 4. So each of the 4 will have 30 cards per deck. Okay, so I'm just figuring out how I'm going to lay this out so that the text can pop and for it to have a background so that it's legible. Um, and then let's see. Oh, and then here I was playing with the idea of maybe putting a black border around it so that you're not just seeing a colored, like it's not against the border. It looks kind of weird. I was like putting a black border to see if it will kind of blend in and it looks like it's flush. Um, And then I changed my mind. I liked it, but then I changed how I was going to do it. Let's see. Okay, so I changed it to white, and then I was like, "Why is it white?" But the text is white, so I just need to change the color of the text. I switched that to black. Okay, and then I wanted the actual scene of the picture to be more visible, so I kind of made it more translucent. The background, the element, the bar, the white rectangle element to be kind of more translucent than a solid. And then here I'm just fixing up my text and putting an effect so that it kind of pops and looks cool. So I love that, but I decided that I wanted to kind of make the words float within the card, like within the face of the card. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing next. Oh wait, maybe it changed. Okay, yeah. So I remember I had to. I wanted to lighten up the effect so that the word itself could also pop. So I'm trying to get a lighter color, and that didn't really work very well. So I'm going to pull color from pick the photo itself, and that's a really cool thing to do because it kind of it kind of flows with an image. Like if you pull up the color from um, elements around it. then it kind of feels like it's part of it and it blends. So I think that's what I'm gonna be doing next, I believe. Oh, I'm positioning. Okay. So I don't wanna skip too far ahead and then I miss the part that I found out. I mean, it's new to me. It's probably not new to you. Okay. So I love when I'm designing stuff on Canva, I like to zoom in and kind of have a really close up look to see if it kind of makes sense where things are. And then I zoom back out to see how it looks like overall. Because so right here I'm fiddling with the box, and then you're going to see in a few seconds how I was like, "Wow, this is so cool!" When I changed it. Yeah. So here I'm just lining everything up, and I wanted the text to be centered and in the middle. Okay, so it's centered, and then I'm zooming out to see how it looks. That was still cool, but I wanted the for it to be curved, and so I did the curves, and then I did the sides. I changed the side, and I was like, "What?" First, the sides went away when I went to 3, and then that I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love that." Um, just having those sides, like, it's an organic shape. So I've kinda stretched it out so that my text is in the middle, and I love that. So that is basically the face of the types of Word deck, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward so that you can see what the backside of it, where all the text is going to be. So right there, I'm just grouping it, and I'm gonna go ahead and, position it where I want it to be, at least for now, and then, right now I'm going on and on and on about it because 'cause I'm so excited that I found it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and, duplicate it so that I ended up with 8 in one, on one sheet. Yeah. So, right here, I think I'm sizing it to, 2.5 by 3.5. So I'm gonna go ahead and forward sorry, I don't want to fast forward this. So here is where you see I have now 8 cards or 8, covers or front of cards, so then it'll be easy to just, copy, um, or print it. Just print 1 and then just, what am I trying to say? It'll make things easier when I just have it all laid out, then I can focus on the text side of things because I can easily duplicate this or just it'll be easy. I don't have to do more than what I did of these since I am printing them from the house and I can print back to front on the printer. Okay, so I am going to move on to I pulled this down thinking that I would just take out the picture in the text and just have the because it's in a frame, have the frame be a solid white background with a black border. And I decided, well, let me try and see if I can just use an element shape and just recreate what I want. So with a background, with a frame and the curved ends. Um, so I had to kind of double check and make sure it's the same because I want to make sure that when I print it, they're going to line up. So the only other option to do would be to print 2 and then glue them together and laminate them. Um, so I will try the first way, printing back to front and see how that flows, and then if not, then I'll just print it out and then cut cut each one out and, glue them together and then laminate. So that's gonna be more, labor intensive, but, it'll be fun. You can just sit in front of the TV or watch something or listen to a book as I'm doing it. Okay, so then I decided that I will go ahead and just actually do the element, um, instead of just editing out the front cover. Okay. So for over here, I'm putting the text in, and as you can see, the text is kind of a small. Okay, so that's why I'm going to change the card size to a jumper size, and that might kind of change how many cards I can have on one sheet. But I will try and figure it out and see how to maximize the space that I have because I do want. I'm thinking maybe to go with a jumbo because text size will be more important than how many I have on the sheet, and it'll be easier for anybody to play and see and read. Um, yeah. So here I am working on the text, and I'm trying to figure out because I changed how I was going to do it to when I'm actually creating it. I made some changes. Just trying to remember. I was trying to figure out what I wanted on the back side of this, and I decided to put all the text and a bonus section for this, um, for the back side of the card, and just keep the front side just having the category name. 'Cause I think that will be more cohesive and fun. 'Cause you don't know what you're going to get when you pick the card, right? Yeah, because you could always be like, "Oh, wait, that one says this type, this 4, and I don't want to because 'cause I'm not familiar with it." Because the whole idea of this is n not only to just have fun, but also for him to kind of learn, and me, because there are so many when I was doing this research, I was finding some wars that I had no idea existed, so this is exciting. I mean, I love I love learning, and this is me geeking out. So I'm trying to kind of put a balance between what he loves and what I love, what I want him to do. If it were me, it would be all about it would be a game still, but it would be all about like learning, like really heavy into the learning. But because it's for my son, then we would have to kind of I would have to balance it out with learning and more fun. So I want him to have fun, but learn while he's having fun. So um, kind of almost having the learning part of it be the secondary, as opposed to the game being the secondary, because I want it to be where he wants to play it. Um, and as he is playing it, he's learning. So it's a win-win situation for me. I have to keep on reminding myself when it comes to homeschooling, it's focusing on his needs, what he wants, not necessarily what he wants, but what he needs. I do take into account what he wants, but if it's something that he wants but doesn't go with where the direction that we're going, and it kind of detracts from the elements of homeschooling or the purpose of homeschooling, then we will table it, or we generally move it to his own time. So it's not part of the schooling. And sometimes he gets surprises here and there, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know I was going to get this, or we were going to do this." So it's fun. So here right now, I'm just kind of making sure that it's all lined up, and I was trying to group it, but it was already grouped. So as the video ends, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste so that I have 8 lined up. The trick now is going to be to make sure that both sides, the text side and the front side, are kind of lined up, because when I print them back to front, I want it where they're meshed up, so when I cut it out, I'm not cutting things out. I might have to end up doing where I just take off the border of the text and just have, a white border, or just a gray line or something that I can just easily cut off. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but, right now, we're working the prototype, and as you creative mamas know, when you're learning a creative thing, when you're planning something, the first time that you're doing it or putting it together, it's never gonna be perfect. There's always going to be something that you know you can improve on. what's more important is the journey. Are you enjoying what you're doing? Are you enjoying learning to be more creative and building on to your creativity? Um, I mean, I could have just sent this out or have somebody do it, but I love it was like a challenge. That's the thing with me, like, my creative stuff, when I'm doing stuff, it's more of like a challenge, and I wanna learn more about it. Not to do it better, but to learn how to add different things to it. So, I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop sharing right now. Um, I'm gonna come back to me. Yeah, let's stop that. And, thank you for bearing with me. If you ended up watching this, thank you. And, yeah, so that was my first live stream, and this is the half live stream because it's more of the voice and the talking and, um, yeah, but I want this to be a lesson to you mamas out there and anybody else who's watching this, that just because you make a mistake or something turns out wrong, don't dwell on it. I mean, you would think about it because I know I'm gonna think about this, but I'm laughing about it. But don't dwell on it and don't let it kind of hijack your moment. Don't let it derail what you want to do, your creativity. Because a lot of times when we start something and it turns out not the way we imagined it or it turns out wrong, then we tend to stop and we don't go on. But I want you to realize that it's not the result, it's the journey. Okay. It's the journey of you learning how to create something, how to do something, how to build something, how to imagine something. No matter what it is, whatever field you're in, it's the journey of you getting from point A to point B, what you learn in between, what you add to it, how it changes you. Because, hey, that's what it is to be a creative mama. And that's it for now. I'm at 32 minutes and odd seconds. So I'll end it here and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.